Welcome to Virtual Antics, your go-to podcast for digital entrepreneurs, powered by Nandora.org and NG Virtual Assistant. We're here to guide you through every aspect of business, from networking to lead generation and so much more. Get ready to thrive in the virtual world with expert insights and our all-in-one solution, Nandora, where creating a digital business becomes a breeze. Let's dive in and revolutionize your business journey together. Welcome back to the Virtual Antics Podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Guzman, and today I have another fabulous guest with us. I have Miss Rhonda Parker, and she is an amazing author. Her story is one of unwavering determination, and she has fearlessly pursued her dreams in the face of numerous challenges and adversity. Welcome, Rhonda. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I can't wait to engage with you and your audience and really have little nuggets of things that, can inspire us to be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here. And I absolutely love your book. You have the author of Crossroads, which is a fictional novel, correct?
That is correct. So Crossroads is fiction, but I'm also known for my academic writing. And so I kind of try to put those together. When I say together, it's definitely a suspense thriller, but it also has little lessons learned as you go through the who done it, what happened, why did it happen, but then what can we learn as the reader or the audience about our own lives that could place us potentially in these same adversities.
That is amazing. That's one of my favorite things about reading. I'm an avid reader myself. I read at least a book a day. I'm a speed reader, actually. And I love it because, like you said, you put yourself into a different world, but then you are also learning things that relate to your own life. That is really cool. So how'd you get started? Where'd your passion for writing come from?
Well, I would never have thought I was going to be a writer, believe it or not. I started out in business. I went to college. I got my BSM, my MBA, and my doctorate in management. And I was working in the soft skills of, HR, education. And I started writing then. And then I realized that you could really explore not only your own personal life and emotions, etc., but you can really create a world all to your own. Like you said, you're going someplace else. So I started Crossroads to show I could do it. At first it wasn't about publishing or becoming a bestseller author or anything. It was about, let's get this story out. Let's engage in these characters and create this world. So I picked some area that I know, Indianapolis. And what I was inspired by is I was really active in community service, and I saw the injustices in the legal system, and many of us have been called to jury duty, but we don't have the ins and outs of what really goes on in the legal system. So if you're in a jury, you find out that, hey, this is a whole new world than what we expect. And so I started with that premise, but then the characters just took over. What I thought what the ending was going to be, yes, it was the ending, but it ended up being a whole lot more in the process.
That's really cool. And I love that. I love the natural flow that I've interviewed a couple of authors, and I love that they talk about how you start writing and, you think you have an ending sometimes, or sometimes don't plan it at all. And the characters just kind of create the story itself. That is really, really cool. And that's kind of like how we are in real life, right? We all have our own stories. We don't know the ending. It just
Right.
every single decision brings on us to a new path. I think that's really, really interesting. So did you learn anything about yourself or have any, I can't speak today, man.
Okay.
Did you learn anything like new about yourself maybe while you're writing Crossroads?
Well, I think one, persistence, the importance of just every day, spending at least one page a day. If I spent one page a day, I have a novel in a year. So a lot of times people think that, oh my goodness, I got to sit down and I got to power through it. No, if you just do one page a day, then you're done in a year. So that was the first thing. But about myself, what I learned, and it kind of surprised me, is some of the things that I had been taught in my life, I questioned, and then I came out with, this person was right when they gave me this piece of mentoring. So for instance, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Indiana. So the core value for blue collar workers is work is your core. So here I took the main character who had a work ethic, like unbelievable type A personality, and had her go in there and she's got jury duty. And then she realized she had to question that core value, because it was when you have too many things going on in your life and you're dedicated to work so much, you are giving up another part of your life, when you're working that much. And many of us, especially in today's world, the inflation's high, and we've got social media everywhere that engages us to buy, or be prettier or faster or stronger. And, we're constantly being bombarded that to be better and strive for more. But sometimes those goals are good, but you can't let it unbalance you. So I found out it through this that not only was my character imbalanced by keeping that core value, but maybe I needed to evaluate it too. And so there was little nuggets like that. And then I learned to appreciate some of the things my father said. Do not compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we compare because we want to strive to be like them. That's not a negative outcome, but then it comes to envy sometimes. Maybe they have a bigger house. Maybe they have the promotion you wanted. Maybe, they're getting along better with your boss, or, whatever those envies are. And in that writing process, it started developing. And I started saying, well, what do different philosophers say about envy? And what do different religions say about envy? And I found the perfect premise of what we need to consider. And that is, anger is cruel. And yes, we do get angry at people, and that is cruel, and we can act out on that. Fury is overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy? Envy makes the bones rot. And right then I was like, okay, we know what these people are going through. The tension is coming from all of those emotions. And so it kind of evolved, and I learned about myself. Do not compare. And I thought of all the times my dad would say, because there's 5 of us kids, don't compare yourself. Of course, I was the baby girl, so I was always comparing myself. It robs you from you and what your intended purpose is. And so I found that, wow, it wasn't self-reflection, even though it was a fiction. It was self-reflection of what society has for us and offers us if we do not monitor and use emotional intelligence for ourselves.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And then one of the things that you said in the very beginning was that you set a goal, right? So like every day, you'd write so much. And I think that's really important, especially when you're a business owner. And because you have so much going on. And so really one, defining your goals. So you kind of said, hey, I want to have this book done within a year. So I need to write so many pages. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. And that's what we have to do as business owners, right? Is like we have to say, what do we truly want out of our business? What does it look like a year from now? What do you have to take to get there? What are the steps to do this within that time frame? How much do you have to spend? Do you have to hire people? Do you have to set time on your schedule to complete it? And then just making sure that you are sticking to that every day. And that takes a lot. That's a lot harder than it sounds. Because when you say it out loud, it sounds really easy, right? But to have the willpower to actually follow through with that every day, that's amazing.
The commitment, so like I come up with little slogans for myself, even in my marketing. I know a lot of your audience are marketing and are considering marketing and looking for little tools. Okay, for your social media. So the publisher does a certain amount, and you have to do a certain amount of pushing, and you have to look at it and say, what's the big picture? So I have Monday is review Monday. So maybe I post a review, or Tuesday might be what I call push, which means it's just my following. And maybe Wednesday might be poll, which means I, in groups, engaging in groups to continually better my brand.
Yeah.
So even though I'm already an entrepreneur and have my own business, consulting, mentoring, the book is a whole different business, really. You have to look at it as a business every day. And a lot of times as authors, I think people start saying, well, I wrote the book, now somebody buy it, and then they want to know why it's not getting bought. Well, you only have so many friends and family.
Yeah.
So you have to think of engaging ways to get your message and your brand and you're out there. So it might be a great book. When you're going to conferences, they say some of the best novels are in people's closets. And that's because they've written them, but they haven't gotten them out there like they need to be. So when you decide that you're done with the product, because a book is a product, it's an art, but it's a product too. Once you get the cover done and you've designed it and everything else, it's like, okay, what does this product stand for? So for me, I said, okay, well, it's a fiction novel, but I also have, a decade or 2 decades worth of experience in teaching and education at the higher education level. So I'm like, okay, so for every fiction novel, that there'll be a self-help that goes with it. So that people that identify, wait a minute, I'm out of balance. I need life. I've done this with my students 100 times, go through the process of defining your goals. Okay, so let's create this self-help book. So that's going to come out in probably early December. And then that's my brain, what my brain is. So then book 2 is part of the series of Crossroads book 1. And you just keep on building yourself. But if you don't look at yourself and your product, you never can get it out there. And especially in today's social media, you either have to do it yourself and learn all those software programs, or you have to hire someone like, you, or, maybe one of the other business, the analytic people that can help you, Google, Amazon, somebody's got to help you distribute that product.
Yeah, 100. And it's definitely possible, just writing down all your different goals, what direction, write the to-dos. And then I always say you either keep it for yourself, you delegate it, or it might not be a task that you need to do at all. You might be able to automate it. So yeah, that's definitely my go-to process for making sure that all the to-dos get completed, but also that your time is really valuable. So you want to make sure that you're only doing the tasks that, are boss worthy. So awesome. Well, it was so nice to have you on the show. Where can we find you? Where can we get Crossroads?
Sure. So you can find me at rhondaparkertaylor.com. That's my website. Rhonda is spelled with an R, H instead of just RO. And all of my social medias are the same. Crossroads is a suspense novel. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, BAM, any of the major retailers. And then it is in select stores. The one thing that we hadn't talked about is the importance of getting them in the right hands. Crossroads is endorsed by Merrill Hemingway, the Golden Globe and Academy Award winning actress, and the granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway. She has a book club. So she has written the foreword, and she also did a YouTube video for it. And I think that the message that I would say is explore. If you're out there and you're listening, explore your options, explore what social media influencers, etc., can do for you, and realize that, you know what, you have it to be whatever you want to. In this case, it ended up being a bestseller for me. For you, for somebody else, it might be that, their product takes off. Use the tools. So rhondaparkertaylor.com, and enjoy your life and do the best that you can every day and be blessed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rhonda. I'll make sure I put those links in the show notes as well. And we'll see you guys next time on the Virtual Antics Podcast.